Omo man, this is so damning. A sitting president surrounded by security, cameras everywhere, and yet she was violated by a drunk in Mexico. Just that for Mexico it happened. A whole president of a country, a woman president, had her body touched anyhow. She was forcefully kissed by a drunk man in the street. This is crazy. So Mexico first female president, Claudia Sheinbaum, was groped. The guy grabbed her bobby and then tried to kiss her by a drunk man while greeting supporters, which many presidents will never do, and she did it. She was harassed. She has pressed charges though, because this kind of thing cannot just happen and go like that. So not for just herself, but for every woman who has ever been told let it go, this one will never go, the guy would have to go to jail for it. Because if this can happen to a head of state, what hope do the ordinary women have, especially in places like Mexico and other third world countries? Now I have about 5 takeaways from the whole of this drama that occurred, and the first one is that women could be symbol of power, but at the same time they are vulnerable. Now even the most powerful woman in Mexico, the president, was not spared. It shows how sexual harassment is not about opportunity but about entitlement. People would have felt that yes, they do it to the less privileged people and because they do not have means and power, but this was not to the most powerful person in Mexico. So the belief that a man can violate boundaries without consequences, now that is what it means. And if this can happen in full public view, surrounded by guards and cameras, it exposes the depth of normalization of such acts. And then the second takeaway is that a president's courageous response to the whole of all these shenanigans. Now, the president's decision to press charges sends a powerful signal. Accountability must begin from the top. She would have just said, well, this person is one of my supporters, my fans and all of that. But no, what about other women who are victims of this kind of harassment? So what she's doing is going to send the message that this kind of rubbish cannot be tolerated, and that's why I'm happy with it. So this could set a new legal and cultural precedent in Latin America, that no harassment is too small or to confront. And then the third takeaway I have for this is that the broader message to gender-based violence, that Mexico records one of the highest rates of femicide in the world. Nearly 10 women killed every day. Yes, I was surprised when I first read that fact in First Point by Salma, and she gave different analysis of different countries where women are violated and all of that, gender-based violence. And so if 10 women can be killed in Mexico every day, then this guy needs to be dealt with. The assault on president reflects a society still struggling with misogyny and culture despite progress in politics. It opens the conversation about women's safety in public life, from markets to ministerial offices. And then the fourth takeaway I have about this is accountability and the optics in the age of cameras. The fact that the assault happened on live cameras with security presence exposes not only the offender but systemic complacency, that this guy was not even scared. Camera was there, security men were there, and he was still able to do this. And then it raises a serious question about security protocols and the symbolic security of women in public spaces, because if this guy were holding a knife, he would have been able to stab this woman, and then that's how they would have lost their president, all in the name of she trying to mingle with people and then try to be the people's president. And then the fifth one is the global implication and solidarity. The incident shows or resonates beyond Mexico. It goes beyond Mexico. It echoes different cases where female leaders and journalists worldwide face gender disrespect or violence, especially in martial sports. All those cheerleaders, they are often harassed and touched anyhow. It calls for global solidarity against sexual harassment, whether the victim is a head of state or an ordinary citizen. The message is clear. Power does not protect women from patriarchy. Only justice and consistent accountability can. Now, This is crazy. So let me know your thoughts are in the comment section. I remain your boy Ernest Omosokwe Adebayo Okoje. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Signing out. Peace.
America.